Welcome to Learn and Love Music. I'm Duane Hulbert. This week I'm returning to one of my favorite composers, Nikolai Medtner. He's a Russian composer, and there are so many wonderful pieces that he's composed that are relatively unknown. The one I've chosen for this week is Opus 34, number 2. I'm going to present 6 tips on how to play this piece. It's a wonderful piece because of the left hand. Now in this piece, the left hand does not have any melodic material. The left hand is, all it is just this moving line, this wonderful flashy left hand. What this 16th note pattern does is it sets the mood for this piece. It's dark, it's dreary, it's Russian. It's a fabulous piece of music. Above that rolling, angry sound, there's a wonderful melody that appears in the right hand. There, it's this melody. When I started working on this piece, I saw this quote. It says, "When we have called a thing ours, it departs us forever." It kind of gives the mood to this. Very dark, very brooding. And the tip is technique. You need to put in a lot of time with this passage because it doesn't stop from the beginning to the end of the movement. These awesome passages have to be worked on really, really carefully so that they don't take over the melody above. Basically, it just provides this dark mood underneath. Not one place in this piece has any melody in the left hand, but the left hand has that important mood piece that has to go into this work of Medtner. Tip number 2, there's a wonderful right hand melody. He marks this at the mezzo piano level while the left hand is playing pianissimo, and that line has to come out in the opening of this piece. Here's the melody. Very hauntingly beautiful. Put these together and here's what the opening sounds like. Melody at the top. What a wonderful way to start this dark, brooding piece. Tip number 3. When playing the left hand, make sure you're very careful with using the pedal. There are a lot of these 16th note triplets. This passage can become very blurry if you're not careful with the pedal. For example, if I just did this, that's actually what Medtner wrote. He wrote these pedal marks every half bar. It's not quite as simple as that, I've found. You have to kind of use the pedal in a very, very shallow way so that all of the notes are heard, but you still get that pedal mood. So if you were to look at my foot, you'd see that it just hovers above the pedal very beautifully. I'm going to play the left hand alone without the right hand. Much better than doing something like that. So you really have to use what I call a shallow pedal. You don't want the pedal to be down any more than 1/4 of the distance down to the bottom of the pedal. It's really important. You really have to control it. So when you put the 2 lines together, the lyrical line on the top and the accompaniment line underneath. Be really shallow with these pedals. And when I play that, sometimes I'll bring out the left hand a little bit, but as I bring out the left hand, I lift the pedal up. If you don't pick up the pedal, then it won't be clear. You don't want to have this stuff. It just doesn't work. So really work on your pedal. Learn how to play with a really shallow pedal. And tip number 4. Medtner uses a comma at the ends of phrases. It's almost as if he's making it into a lyrical piece for voice. And those marks, those commas, mean that is where you need to breathe in the music. I'll give you an example. About the third measure, we have this melody on top, but there are little commas in there, almost like you're waiting for just a little half of a second before you go on. So here it is, the flowing line, comma, comma, and it comes up again, comma, comma. And what I found is every time you see a comma written in the music, it's just like reading a book. You want to leave yourself a little bit of time for that comma to be heard. It's not mechanical. That's what's so important. This is a romantic piece, so we want to have that stretch and pull in the rhythm to make it effective. Number 5, prepare your subito piano entrances. These make the music very, very dramatic. Here's an example of where Medtner, this is on the second page, he has this forte passage followed by a dolce passage, which is much, much softer. But you have to use your pedal carefully so it doesn't blur over that softer passage that suddenly appears. Here's the louder passage here. I love the abruptness that Medtner uses. In the middle of all this really wonderful, thick chords and passages, he throws in this piano or pianissimo. It's very moving, I found, and very appealing for audiences as well. Number 6, be aware of the color changes in the harmony. On the third page, you'll see that there's a passage where suddenly he's using thicker chords, but with a very soft sound. And it has an impressionist kind of sound. First there's a melody that sounds like this. Right here. I love those chords in there. They're thick chords, but they're played very quietly. This. It takes a lot of skill to make these passages work, mostly because there are thick chords, but we want that to be very, very light, and it has almost a sheen over it, so that all of the colors are clearly heard, not just the top line, but the entire chords. And don't be afraid to use the soft pedal in order to bring out these beautiful qualities. Thanks for watching. I'm Duane Hulbert, and we'll see you next time on Learn and Love Music.